Yeah, YouTubers, Tasman here, bringing you another episode of Fantasy Grounds Unity from the ground up. And I'm feeling a lot better than the last episode. I still have a little bit of a itchy throat and stuff, but most of the congestion and stuff is pretty much taken care of. So, in this episode, in the last episode, basically, we talked about using the character wizard. In this episode, we are going to create a character manually. So we're going to actually create another character here. And I'm thinking maybe we'll just do something really simple that'll be nice and quick. We'll do like a warrior. So, hold on just one second. Or a fighter, not a warrior. That's what I'm thinking. All right, so first thing we want to do is we want to click on this little plus button down here. And once that's up, you can see it has the name there. We can go ahead and get rid of this. We'll just call this one Tasman. Those are the two that I always use, Tazzy and Tasman. M4NN. Don't even know how to spell my own name. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to create a fighter. Now, remember in the last episode I talked about the order I like to do this in. And usually I prefer like the background, then the race, then the class, then go ahead and rolling my attributes. And the reason for this is because, as I said in that episode, if you didn't see that episode in this first time, the reason I do it that way is because your background gives you two skills. And that's it. You can't change those. It's not two options for skills. It's just two skills. And sometimes the class you choose will actually have those skills also as a possibility. And if you choose those, basically you're losing out on a extra skill that you could have done. For example, let's say I'm an acolyte, because that's the only one in the SRD. Well, that gives me religion, and I already forgot the other one. And then if I'm a cleric, if I choose that one first, and then I choose, I want religion because I'm a cleric, and medicine, well, now the background one basically overrode, or one of those overrode the other one, where I could have actually chose something else. Hopefully that makes sense. I know I don't explain it very well, but that's my reasoning for it. Now, as I said, excuse me, as I said, this is using SRD stuff, so really we only have a choice of one background, which is the acolyte. And all we have to do with all this stuff is, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Didn't mean to make a copy. All we need to do to add this stuff is just drag it and drop it on our little character sheet here. So for Acolyte, we can just drag it. We can put it here in background, or we just drag it on the sheet and it'll find its spot. And you'll see here that it added insight and religion, right? So now that we have that, we know, insight and religion have been added. So if we go to our skills, we see that those have been given proficiency. The next thing I like to choose is generally the class, or actually the class and race really don't matter at this point, just because they don't have anything that really overwrites each other. The biggest thing is the background. But I do like to always roll my attributes last, or my ability scores last. That's because my race is going to give me some bonuses to some of these, and I might actually want to use those bonuses to my best advantage when I'm placing my stats. So we're going to go ahead and close out backgrounds. Like I said, it really doesn't matter. Let's just go for, say, human here. I don't know. We do half orc. It doesn't matter. So we just drag that. Once again, you don't have to drag it on the race spot. You can drag it anywhere. It'll actually find its place on that page. Now, there is a difference. If I'm on this page and I drag it, it's not necessarily going to find this page. So you do need to be on the right page. So now, as you can see, we added our race. And you can see it added +1 to strength, +1 to dex. And as a human, you actually get +1 to everything, right? And so it actually did that for us. It added our speed here, because that's one of the things. So set our speed. It gave us in our abilities down here, it added this spot that says 2 of your own choice. Or was that actually that was this one. So this was from the Acolyte. From being human, we get 1 of our choice. So we got another choice here. And then finally we got our size added, which is a medium size, which is, where is medium? I think that's not under abilities, is it? I don't think so. That doesn't make sense. It might be here. There we go. It's under our notes section. So now that we got that, now we can go ahead and add our class. And we're just going to do a fighter. And fighter right there. And once again, drag it anywhere on the page and it will automatically do that. So now you see here that now it's asking us what additional thing. If I, for example, was an insight, if I would choose insight here, basically it would negate that. So because I've chosen my background first, I know I do not want to choose insight as one of these. So let's go ahead and choose athletics, and maybe as a fighter, maybe acrobatics would be a good one. And we can click on that, and now you'll see it adds those as well. And basically that is our main parts. We have our class, we have our race, and we have our background. Now, when we level up, the temptation might be to come in here and just change this level right here from 1 to a 2, like so. This is not the recommended way to do it because it doesn't do anything other than change that value right there. So if we change that back to 1, the best way to level up is to actually take the little eye icon, drag it outside of the box, and bring it back in. That way it's going to add everything else that we need. So here you can see it added 1 additional level, which gives us average hit points up to 6. I think that's what we rolled, is a 6. And we get action surge, and you'll see that that automatically put all that stuff in here. So now we actually have action surge right there. We have our hit points automatically increased another 6. So the default was, just your default is a D10. So we were maxed out on our first level. It rolled automatically for the second level. That gives us 6. We can change this if we need to, but hopefully that helps clear that up. You don't want to just increase that number. You want to drag that out and drag it, drop it back in. Or you could actually grab a class from here, and you could drag, if we went to level 3 fighter, we'll want to drag it here, and we could drag it here, and now we're a level 3 fighter. Say we wanted to multi-class, be a fighter barbarian or something, as long as we meet the criteria, which right now we don't, but we will once we roll our stats. Because you need to have at least a 13, I believe, in strength for a barbarian. So if we go barbarian, we drag that in, and now you'll see that we're a level 3 fighter and a level 1 barbarian. So that's basically how you will level up. Also, I think this is fairly new. There's this little level up guy here that will open up the character wizard and help you level up that way. But as far as leveling up, it's just way easier just to grab it and drop it. So let's go back into our character. I need to go back up here to player and characters, and then go and close that one again, and go click on Tasman, and we're gonna go add the rest of this stuff. So the difference with having the character, the wizard, do it for you is it kind of walks you through all the steps. If you're familiar and you just go down all the tabs, you're going to be just fine. You know, because you'll just look at the different instructions, so to speak, on what you actually want, you know, what weapons, and when you're choosing your equipment and stuff like that. So on D&D Beyond, or in the handbook, the player's handbook, as I said with the cleric in the last episode, it gives you a quick build, which is saying, hey, if you're gonna just want to make a real quick fighter, here's our recommendations. So I'm going to read that real quick, because the big things that are there is it tells you what usually you want, your strongest strength, your strongest attributes, your secondary, and sometimes secondary slash tertiary? Third? I don't know. So anyway, it says you can make a fighter quickly by following these suggestions. First, make strength or dexterity your highest ability score. So if you're a fighter but you're a ranged fighter, then you would want dex. If you're going to be melee in there, right in the middle of the fight, you're definitely going to want strength. You will still want dex, which I'm sure it's going to tell us, and probably your con, because you're going to be taking the hits. So let's go see what it says. So first, make strength or dex your highest ability score, depending on whether you want to focus on melee or archery or finesse weapons. The next highest should be your constitution or intelligence if you plan to adopt Eldritch Knight. So if we want to be an Eldritch Knight, that uses intelligence, or the same type of thing wizard spells use and stuff. So they're saying you might want to buff that up. And then it says choose soldier as your background as a quick recommendation. Well, we don't have the option of soldier, but we can do all these other things. So I'm going to go ahead and clear this. Now, as a player, you will not be able to clear this. We're actually in the GameMaster's view here, where we can actually, yeah, you can see right there, we're GameMaster. But we're going to go ahead and click on our little link we made in the last video. If you don't know how to do it, basically all we did was do /die for dice and do 4d6, and then we want to drop the lowest one, so DL1. And then once you've done that, you can drag it down into the spot, and now you can just click that, and it will automatically roll our die for us. We're going to go ahead and clear that one. So let's go ahead and do this 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, we got a lot of dump stats. Holy cow, we got a lot of badness. That's terrible rolls. I'm almost tempted just to re-roll it because they're so terrible, but who knows, we might actually get worse. I want kind of a more range. There we go. That's fine. At least we're not like 2 super dump stats. All right, so now the difference between, say, doing it with the wizard and doing it here is we have to take in consideration what's already in this box, since we've already added our race. This might be a reason that you would want to add your race after you do. So you'd want to do background, class, then roll your attributes, then your race, because then it will actually automatically add them, because one of these might be a +2, one of these might be a +1. I'm usually okay at doing this manually, because I can simply say 17, 17 instead of 11, but I know that that's not 10, so I add 1. So all these are +1. Default is 10. I think I'm getting a little, I might be confusing people. If we go create a brand new character, I'm not actually going to create, well, I guess I kind of am, but we're not going to do anything with it. I just wanted to point out that the default attributes, a human might have been a bad thing because it makes everything look the same, but the default attributes on a character sheet is all 10s. So if we want to add 17 to, say, strength, we actually know it's an 18 because we have a +1 in every one of these. Hopefully that makes sense. So we'll go and do 18 on our strength. The next thing, I'm going to go ahead, that's gone now. Let's go ahead and throw the 16 on our constitution, so we can take some hits. So that's actually going to be a 17, right? And then the 15 is going to become a 16. We're going to put that on our dex to make us a little harder to hit. And then we have 10, 11, and 10. So 2 of these we actually just get to leave at 11 because they have that +1. Let's go ahead. I mean, we took proficiency in perception, right? Which is, did we do perception? Persuasion. We did athletics and acrobatics. So we have dex, strength stuff, wisdom, intelligence. Maybe we'll let intelligence be our next stat that's higher, just to make those intelligence checks a little better. So this one, because it's taken the 11, gets the +1, so that becomes a 12. And then these 2 that are 10 get the +1, so they become 11. Hopefully that makes sense. It does in my mind, but my mind can be a little weird. So there we go. Now we have all our attributes rolled. We have our perception, our passive perception right here, which is a +0, +10. We have our saves over here. We have our ability checks over here. We have our background race. We have our proficiency bonus. I have it set in the rules that you can have up to 3 inspiration points tracked. Technically, D&D only lets you have 1, but I'm a nice guy. If I needed to change this, I could always change this as our level 3. We can actually, roll the die. We can see that as a barbarian, I know this because it's a 12-sided, and we have our fighter that's a 10. So let's move on to the next. We've already got all our skills taken care of. Our abilities are all taken care of except for some of these proficiency stuffs. It might sometimes in here say select a tool or select a musical instrument. But here's the big one. We have languages. Now, once again, difference between the wizard and doing it manually is you need to type these in. An important thing to note with typing these in is you need to make sure it's exactly what it says right here under the, so if we click on the gear, which is options, come down here to languages, we need to make sure we're typing it in exactly as it is here. So if we want, let's do maybe Draconic. I'm just going to do a copy and paste. So see, that way I know I'm spelling it right. And then we're going to hit back. We're going to hit V. We're not going to hit enter because if we hit enter, it'll create a new line, and we don't want that right now. Let's go ahead and do maybe Elvish, E-L-V-I-S-H for the second one. Now I do want to hit enter because it said choose 2. So that's going to give me my 3rd line right there, or my 4th line. And let's go ahead and do maybe Dwarven. And once again, we want to make sure it doesn't say Dwarvish like it does here, because Dwarven actually wouldn't pull up anything. We need Dwarvish, which uses the Dwarven runes. So we can type that, D-W-A-R-V-I-S-H, right? D-W-A-R-V-I-S-H. All right, so now that we've done that, it will actually be able to give us the ability to click in this thing and choose those, and this is shown a lot more because once again I'm GM, but it will only give you those options that are in here. So now we can close out the languages there. We can close out options. Let's move on to the next tab, which is our inventory. So we're going to come over here under campaign. We're going to click on items. This is the only thing you'll really need in the campaign tab. The other thing we're going to want to do is go grab our classes, and we're going to grab a fighter so we know exactly what we're doing. Once again, Wizard does this for you. It's really not that hard, but some people just want it to do it. So you can see there's our proficiencies, There it tells us what our saving throw proficiencies are. But here's the big thing right here. So you start with following equipment in addition to the equipment granted by your background. So if our background provides us equipment, we would get that. So we can choose chainmail, leather. We can choose chainmail, or we can have leather, longbow, and 20 arrows. We want chainmail, so let's go ahead in here. We'll type chain, C-H-A-I-N, and there's our chainmail. We're just going to drag it over here, just like that, and now you can see right here we have chainmail. First thing we want to do is actually equip that, because right now it's carried, so we click on that, and now it's equipped. The difference between that is now you can see our AC went from 19. If we only have that either carried or not carried at all, you'll see that it automatically adjusts that accordingly. So we want our chainmail to be equipped. We want to make sure we have it on us. So that's that. Let's go ahead. We get a martial weapon and a shield or 2 martial weapons. So I like the shield. It's going to give us a bonus of 2 more AC points. So S-H-I-E-L-D. So we're going to go ahead and take a shield and grab that. Once again, if that actually came on as equipped, and now you'll see we've jumped up to 21. So we're much harder to hit now. All right, so the other thing is another martial weapon. Now, I haven't memorized every weapon. This is where these little buttons up here might come in handy. Not the forge, though. Like, we could have chose our armor from here, and we could find the chainmail in here. You know, if we went down to, is chainmail heavy? I think it's heavy. So we come down here. There we go, chainmail. That's chain shirt. Actually, no, it's medium, isn't it? So we could have chose it here. With the weapons, just so I know what I'm going for, it actually tells you right here, this is simple melee weapons. And if we scroll down and go to the next page, we can get, there's our simple ranged weapons. And then here's our martial weapons. So one thing we can't do, because we're holding a shield, is we can't have anything that says two-hand. So two-handed, we can't use. So let's maybe, I think two-handed, everything there. Most of the stuff down here is going to be two-handed. Let's just do maybe a battle axe. That might be fun. So we'll drag that there, and you'll see it. We verify it is equipped as well. How are we doing on time? We're at 23 minutes. I gotta hurry. Or I could actually split this in 2, because there's quite a bit more that we can do. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna finish this with what we're doing, because I do think we're probably close enough. And then in the next episode, we're going to actually learn how to tweak our sheet, because that will actually work for whether you do it with the wizard or you do it with this. So I think that's going to be a good idea. All right, so now we can have a light crossbow and 20 bolts, or 2 hand axes. Well, let's take the 20 bolts and crossbow. It was light, right? C-R-O-S-S. So we'll do a crossbow. Crossbow light right there. Drag that in, make sure it's equipped. And then bolts, that should be up here, 20 bolts. And technically, if you want, you could also do a bolt case, just because you need something for the bolts. So sorry, we could do bolt case, if you know, for thematics or whatever. And you get a quiver with your arrows usually. So let's go look. Actually, is it just called? Oh, there it is. Case crossbow bolts. So we can have that right there. And you'll see that's carried. You don't need to equip that. And then finally, we get a Dungeoneer's pack or an Explorer's pack. So if we do, let's I'm going to do Dungeoneer. Dungeon, Dungeoneers pack. And we just drag that on there. And you'll see that actually unpacks it and gives us every little thing that is in that pack. So there we go. We're done with our items. We basically already did this. I guess we could... Oh, we didn't go... Did we go level 3? No, we didn't get to the martial archetype yet. I don't think. So here's your notes. Gender, age, height, weight, personality traits. If you want to roll these in backgrounds, for example, you can go to Acolyte, come down here, and here's your table for your personality traits, your ideals, bonds, and flaws. I highly recommend do flaws. They add character to your character. They make them more real. The things that makes life interesting is our flaws, not our perfections. So I highly recommend you do flaws. A lot of people skip that. That's the notes section. We can add notes on top of that. The log is for doing Adventure League stuff. That's your DCI number, your faction, adventure notes and stuff. You can use this for whatever you want. It's just basically notes. And then finally we have our actions. So you'll notice it automatically put the stuff in here. It's not listing how many arrows we got, so we can do that manually, and it will automatically deduct these as we use them. We also, let's say our battle axe was a two-handed weapon. We have the choice. Is it versatility that does that? I think it's versatility. So if it's versatility, then you can actually use it one or two-handed. I mean, we have a shield. But what you can do if you're going to use it two-handed is quickly click on that, and now you'll see it actually automatically increased it from a, what was it, D8, I believe, to a D10. Or if it's in your offhand, it just removes your bonus, your modifier, and then back to one hand. So you can do that. This little icon means melee. This one means ranged. You can always change it by clicking on it. That means thrown, and then back to melee. We don't have to worry about spells, and I kind of did that intentionally because we created a caster in the last one, so I just wanted to have a very basic one this time. So in the next episode, we're at almost 30 minutes. In the next episode, we're actually going to learn more about the inner workings of the character sheet. We're going to learn some tips, tricks, and techniques. So be sure to join back when that one comes out in another week. And be sure, well, I guess I might as well do my outro. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Aside from that, comment, like, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Check out my Discord and my other channels. And don't forget to tell other people about my channel. Come check it out. We grow the channel. It'll be awesome. I'll love you forever, even though I already do. But that is it, my friends. Until next time, I'll be seeing you later. Bye.